Clap twice if you can hear me. Okay, cool. How we doing?
Great.
Yeah? Yeah, it's kind of weak. How we doing?
Great.
Good, good. So, someone tell me something good. What's going on in our market? What's going on in your business? Buyers are buying? Love that. Is everybody experiencing that? Buyers are buying? Yes? Okay, cool. What else? Yeah, we'll hold it up for your boss. Hey, so here's something fun. Were you gonna say something? Was that?
I was actually going to say something. You know, there's been tons of rain and there's been some good earthquakes. Check your crawl spaces.
Why would we check our crawl spaces?
There's been some. Actually, if you look, Richard Rink recently did an inspection in on a house that was under contract, and the all-weather wood foundation failed in a section due to this most recent earthquake.
Yeah.
And it cracked in because all the soils were so wet around it in a good shake. It was just too much.
Yeah.
So if you got listings, you got all-weather wood foundations, and they're in wet areas. With all the rain we've been having, have your sellers check their crawl spaces, make sure their sump pumps are working, and make sure they don't have any crawl space issues, because that'll taint the cell.
Good point. Love it. What else? Anybody else have anything of value to offer?
We all do.
It was a joke. Sorry, the high C took me for serious. My apologies. Melinda, thank you for being here. Anything that you want to talk about?
I actually have a couple of things for you guys.
Cool. Might as well.
Okay, so on the warranty front, just got back from convention, great convention. Hot, my God, I'm glad to be back in Alaska. Anyway, voted in some new board members for the Alaska State Board, etc. Had lots of good conversations about warranty. One of the things we've come up recently is had a realtor call up and say, hey, I didn't put that heating coverage on my listing, and we have a failed garage heater. Can you just go ahead and cover that anyway? Please, please, please put those on there. If you guys are doing listing coverage, it's $50. I understand that you may think that you're safe because you've got a new heating system inside the home. Garage units aren't always replaced at the same time, but that would be something that cracked the exchanger. You're looking at $600–700 plus install, and that's something that this realtor kind of had to learn the hard way. So I would hate to see any of you guys have to go through that. Also, so that's on. Any questions on warranty? Because I got a couple of other things that aren't totally warranty related. Okay, so one of the other things that I know that a lot of you have probably heard is about the realtor who was kidnapped and abducted in Arkansas. She was a close personal friend of my partner. Ava used to be the district manager for Crylike. And so it's obviously hit very close to home for us. So YPN, which is the Young Professionals Network of Anchorage, is putting on a realtor safety meeting in October. So we've got a state trooper that is coming out to speak to those who show up, as well as maybe show some defensive moves that you could utilize, as well as a gal who does personal protection that's non-lethal that you could carry for those that don't feel comfortable carrying something else. So those are the things that we're putting on. It's October 21st, and we're still working out the details. Flyers are going to be going out pretty soon, but hopefully all of you guys can get involved in not only the safety, but YPN in general, and come out and network and show your. You guys have got a lot of really awesome careers going here that are not only just young in the business or young at heart or young in age, but all of those things really kind of come together to help everybody grow and network and participate. So hopefully all of you guys will come out and join us.
Even those of us with gray hair?
If you are young at heart, honey, you are welcome.
What's the date and time on that?
October 21st. It is from 5 to 7. Of course, they usually do run longer because we're going to be doing karaoke and having a good time after all the serious stuff. But we do them every month, and we are going to skip November, December just because of the holidays. It's really hard to get participation out and interrupt everybody's family time. So we'll pick it back up after October in January.
And where was it at?
It's going to be at Gampai in Eagle River. It's the October 21st from 5 to 7 at the Gampai Sushi and Sushi House. And there's gonna be karaoke afterwards, but there's gonna be, like I said, state trooper and some personal safety tips.
That's kind of one next to the old movie theater, right? No?
I believe so.
Yes.
You know more about Eagle River than
Yeah, I was
but
gonna
we're
say,
trying
it's
to
not a sushi restaurant I go to. It's
not shy.
first,
That's my card.
21st.
Information's on the board.
Who
Absolutely.
started that YPN? Because I got a friend request on Facebook. Is that you?
I'm one of the board members. There was 5 of us that decided to run with it. So I figured, you know, I've got more communication access to most of you guys. So that's why I got kind of voted into that one, and I can get to talk to all of you. But there's 5 people that actually decided to run with it and put the Anchorage YPN. Wasilla already has one. Fairbanks already has one, and so we're kind of, Anchorage is kind of last on the boat for that one, but it's up and running. We just filed our paperwork to become official, and so we're just now starting all the communications and stuff.
Great, cool. Thank you for bringing that up. I really appreciate it. I mean, it comes down to running a business like a business and like a professional, right? When we're talking about what happened with Beverly. Meet your clients at the office. Get to know your clients. Ava posted something good about, you know, taking a copy of the photo ID. Run it like a business, right? You can't rent a car without a photo ID. Right? Get something so you know who you're in contact with.
And I saw that the Realtor site, Realtor.com, has a download for agents where we can download and have them fill it out with ID and address and information.
Well, that's something you should be doing in your buyer consultation anyway, right?
But it was a little bit more, I think it had more specific information that we don't tend to ask for anymore.
Cool. Okay. And Keller Williams actually just started a Young Professionals Network as well. They're starting to push out some of that information, so I appreciate you running with that. I think it's a great organization. And we'll be able to get some more information about what Keller Williams is doing specifically. So, all right, time-wise, let's bring up the folks that I had reached out to about Mega Camp, some of our top folks that were down there to come and talk about their experience. So, Reed, Kira, Lance, Nani. Are you gonna do it? So I asked Brandy Brandy Kroom was gonna come up and speak, and she texted me this morning. She's like, "Yeah, Dylan puked on me this morning, so I'm gonna take him to the hospital." So I asked Beth. Well, I was gonna ask her to do the business planning clinic panel, which is next team meeting. So you might want to write that down. Business planning clinic panel. Anyway, let's get going. So, real quick, just give me a snapshot of where your business is at, just an idea off the top of your head. And Lance and Nani are on the same team, so give me an idea of where you're at and why Mega Camp is important for you to be there.
I'll hit the Mega Camp and I'll let Lance talk about the numbers because that's kind of the way we operate. So it's important for us to go there. One, when you're at Mega Camp, I mean, as Gary always opens up, you know, this isn't like Pee Wee Herman Camp or Little People Camp, it's Mega Camps. You're there with, you know, people who are thinking much larger than you are. You have an opportunity to sit next to them in your classes, in the masterminds, and really grow with the biggest and the best in our industry. So that's why it's important for us to attend. Not only that, but every time we go out there and we come back, we have a more refined sense of where our business is going and what we want to do to improve it to get it to the next level.
Okay, numbers, we've closed, we're about 89 sites year to date, and about 25 million in volume. And you know, we're kind of a small team. There's really only 4 of us selling, so, yeah.
Cool. Sure.
I'm at 16 million closed and pending. My goal is 20 this year, so I've got 4 million to go. And Mega Camp is really important to me. I would say that the primary reason is that I come away with a clear direction. I mean, just will echo what they did, a clear direction of what I want to accomplish and where I need to go the next few months. You know, it's not necessarily for the next 5 years because things change, and I need that. I need that just motivation and that direction and phenomenal ideas from phenomenal people.
And how many are on your team?
Just me.
Yeah, okay. Just wanted to make sure we all understood.
Does John Michael not count?
There's, all right. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Reed. I want to be Kira when I grow up. So we've closed out about 54 million year to date. We have it's 216 transactions. We have just shy of 13 million pending right now as a team. So for me, Mega Camp is a significant event because it's kind of the beginning of planning season for next year. And so when I'm going down there, I really have one mission, and that is to significantly build the people's lives on my team, to create an environment where their goals are completely achievable. And to do that, I've got to meet with people that are smarter than me, which is easy, but people who are doing things that I haven't done or doing things just a little bit better. And Mega Camp is a place to be able to find those people and create those conversations. So it's critical this time of year for me to be able to get that influence so I can help build into next year.
Awesome.
So last year, Lindsay and I closed just over 20 million and did 67 transactions. This year, we've only closed so far 34 and have about 10 pending. So we've got to get, but we seem to start out really slow every year, and so we've got to really hit the road and get some more things moving. So our team is just Lindsay and me and Nicole, and we had a goal this year of closing 100 deals, and we've fallen short. So well, I don't need to tell you who impressed me the most at Mega Camp, but the thing that really did hit home with me this year at Mega Camp is that it is important to figure out what your one thing is and do it. And the person actually that made the most influence on me there this year was listening to Brad Korn, who does a phenomenal business, and it's pretty much strictly based on his database and his relationship building. And so we've kind of gotten where, well, let's try Trulia and let's try Zillow. Well, we've put cancellations in on all that, and we're just strictly going back to working our database.
Awesome. And what was fun is I got to fly home on the same flight with Beth, and we had an impromptu coaching session in the back of the bus, so to speak.
Who coached you?
It was a little bit of both. A little bit of both. Well, what's really fun is I got to spend time with someone who's been in business for 40 years. You know, I mean, just that's an extremely positive statement, by the way. You know, just the fact that this is an ever-evolving process, right? You understand that things work, you know, a while back that don't work today, and with technology, it's ever-evolving. And I think the main thing that we walked away from Mega Camp and that conversation specifically is you got to get back to work. You just got to get back to your database. You got to get back to doing the things that work, which are door knocking, open houses, database. I mean, you know, your sphere of influence is huge and can definitely make an impact in your business. So how many of you are actually calling them and keeping in touch with them on a regular basis?
So Joe challenged Lindsay and I to list 20 houses in October. So we're taking names, but we're not putting any listings in until tomorrow.
Okay, so Beth gave us kind of her aha from Mega Camp. I want to go ahead and go back down the line. What was the aha? And then we're going to get into what are you implementing? Okay, so first just
the
aha. Yep.
Okay. So I took a ton of notes, and I had what I would say a lot of ahas, but I think Beth kind of, you know, said it really just, you know, getting back to your database. We have a huge database. Lance and I had looked at our network of people that we've dealt with, and we said, oh, we wanted to be a repeat referral company. Well, when we really started diving into it and looking into it, we are a repeat referral company. I think, what did we figure out, like 60% of our 67% of our business comes from repeats and referrals. But then what we realized is we're not getting enough of that repeat and referral business from the massive numbers of people that we have in our database. So how are we going to come back and really get that? So that was, you know, one of my big ahas that I had. And then let's see, I'm gonna have to look at my notes because I really. So with that point there, in our mastermind specifically, something I'd heard that I love is to be better before you get bigger. So that's what we really, got is be better at what we're doing before you get bigger. So, that's my
I think every time I go to Mega Camp, this is a shameless plug, I like Mega Camp better than Family Reunion, but everybody needs to go to Family Reunion.
Yes.
The reason I like Mega Camp better is because they tag the second half, the last day they do a masterminds, and we're in that group that gets to be around people. We barely bump into the top level of production, and so I'm sitting at tables with guys doing 500 and 1,000 closings a year, and you're just like, wow, so, but but I just, every time I go away from there, I always think, man, I think too small. And so I leave there with my mindset expanded. And to me, that's key. And this year, I think my biggest aha was, I've been fighting the expanding our team a little bit to get the numbers that we want, but I think we've kind of reached that point of saturation where, if we're going to get to the point where 90 and I can step out and expand our team and do other things outside of just real estate, that I'm going to have to grow more with leverage. And getting that leverage key is going to be just an integral part of our business. And so now I came back to just focus on finding and hiring talent and following the RSTLM model.
I think my biggest aha was something that Gary Keller said on Thursday morning, and I'll kind of quote or paraphrase him a little bit. He says, what do we do when we think that we're doing all that we can do? And the reason that hit me is because that's how I have been feeling the last several months. I am doing the best that I can do. And what he pointed out is that the best that I can do is not necessarily the best way that it can be done. And how do you bridge that? You bring a new relationship into your life. And I have just pondered and thought about that for a really long time. And that new relationship could be a piece of leverage to get you. It could be a new coaching relationship. It could, there's so many. It could be a new accountability partnership or relationship. In order to help me to get to where I need to be, because I, in my own mind, am doing everything the way that I feel like I'm doing the best I can, and it's not necessarily the best way it can be done. And so, in order for me to get outside of that, I have to bring in somebody new, which is why I love being at Mega Camp. Not only did Gary Keller say that, I am around people, so especially in our mastermind session, who are doing things better, way better than I'm doing them, and it gives me ideas and thoughts. So that was my biggest aha.
Awesome.
So, two ahas that I had. One was a real quick one that Gary said from the stage, and that is everybody fails, but not everybody gets back up. And if you see somebody who's successful, what you're really seeing is somebody who has just failed again and again and again. You happen to be taking a snapshot of their life in a moment where they're not flat on their face. And the reality is that if you intend to succeed, then you are intending, by the nature of success, to get bloodied up along the way. And most people just flat out won't go through that piece to get successful. If you get a chance to hear Gary's story more in depth, you find out that his success is a result of lots and lots of blood, sweat, and tears. And I think that's just, we buy into this myth that some people, just find a pot of gold, or it's just magic that they happen to be the ones that are succeeding. It's just not the case. The other one was from a conversation with a coach who's a good friend of mine, Chris Hart. And we were talking about leveraged lead generation because one of the holy grails that seems to be prolific right now is well, let's find somebody else to do our lead generation for us. And he said there's a real challenge with this that he's seeing, especially when it comes to overseas. It's a challenge locally, but it's really a challenge overseas, and that is that the progression of lead generation is scripts to dialogue, and dialogue to conversation. And the interesting thing is that if you don't start with your scripts, then you don't create a foundation for a really good, strong dialogue. And if you don't create a strong dialogue, you never have the opportunity to get in conversation. And conversation is the prefix con means with, right? So I'm versating with a person. We are in this together. And the challenge is that we're asking people to just go and run through a script, but they can't engage a conversation on your behalf. Like they can't engage in that same level. And so the aha from that was, you know, if you're going to do the heavy lifting, the really strong income producing activity, is to learn your scripts, get into dialogues, get into conversations, leverage everything else out, but stop trying to get out of doing the one thing that matters.
Yeah. Do you have another one? Sorry, I forgot.
Well, no. And all of my notes are at home because I wasn't planning.
I know, I told you in the last minute. So here's, so I was listening to MREI on my drive over, and in that book, Millionaire Real Estate Investor, in that book, Gary talks about a story that he had with a student, where the student's like, you know what, Gary, this is all great, this is wonderful, and I'm good. I'm good where I'm at. I don't really need to push any further. Financially I'm good. In my relationships I'm good, and so on and so forth. I'm good. And Gary's response was, totally appreciate you saying so, and that's awesome. I just want you to think about what happened if a loved one ran into something to where they could no longer make money. Somebody that's really close, they could no longer make money. Are you in a position where you could help that individual? And that struck home with me. Going back to what Lance said I'm thinking way too small, right? Those two pieces kind of came together. If I could just be very frank for a minute. So I have a business, I have a team, right? And without leverage, I wouldn't be able to help bring a new agent, Megan, into the industry and potentially, if she chooses to, change her world. Right? Sorry. Yeah. Able to impact her life in a positive manner. Right? And if I didn't have that team, it wouldn't allow me to step into the role that I did and have a bigger impact on my associates. Right? And so going back to where is my level of thinking? My level of thinking needs to be bigger because I want to help impact more lives. Okay, does that make sense? Sounds cheesy, yes, I know, and it's absolutely real and it hits home for me. So I want to impact lives on a major level. And so by taking what Gary says and applying it, it's allowed me to implement some things in my world to be able to do so. Okay. Sorry, it's not about me. Were you gonna say something, Kevin?
No, that's exactly right. It's not about you. When you say I'm good and my business is fine and I'm going to operate okay, then it's all about you. But when you say, no, I want greater things, I want maximum productivity, I want to be able to bless as many people as possible, it's no longer about you, it's about those people that you touch on a daily basis, and there's no limit to your potential.
Cool.
They've mentioned it several times, so often we get our heads wrapped around what's my income, my yearly take home. Well, just reverse that. Can I help 5 people become, net $1 million? And if I'm helping them net $1 million, then I don't need to worry about what my income is, because my income is going to take care of itself. And so it's more about helping others as opposed to helping you. It's the Y4C2Ts and Keller Williams. Together everyone achieves more, right? Teamwork, and I think that's key.
Cool. All right. So the one thing that you're implementing when you come back. Go ahead and start.
Well, Lance and I had the opportunity to go to breakfast with our coach just after everything was all done, and we had a zillion ideas.
He made us write out our 135s, and so.
As I was going to say before I was interrupted,
This is part of the reason I put them on panels, just for this interaction.
He made us write out our 135s, and So we are gonna be breaking our 135s and owning separate 135s on our team, and really, there again, before we get big or get better at the things that really got us where we are today, so that we can get to that next level, higher the leverage. So,
Yeah, it goes back to just getting back into our database. I mean, that's where our bread and butter always has been. You know, we've tried a couple of, you know, pay for lead generation stuff here and there, and it's always failed because we just honestly don't have the manpower to just follow up on all those leads. So our database has kept us busy enough, or else it could be more robust if we just really focus on it. So one of our 135s, our goal first to produce $1 million in GCI straight from our database in 2015.
Cool.
We're close to it. But you know, if you know what a 135 is, it's one goal, 3 priorities, and 5 strategies. And you should be doing those on every facet of your business. I mean, our coaches, our MAPS coach is making us do them.
profit share.
Profit share, I mean, the last one he's making us do is a 135 on getting leads from your listings, buyer leads from your listings. I never even thought about breaking it out even that far. And so, I mean, when this is all said and done, Nani and I are gonna have like 15 135s drawn out on different areas of our business. And looking at that, the only way we're gonna be able to carry all those things out is leverage too, for, you know, with the right talent. So we're on the talent search.
Cool. Okay.
One thing that one of my purposes for going to Mega Camp was to come away with some better ideas for in leadership skills. I do have a full-time assistant and a part-time assistant, and I just don't feel like I'm a great, you know, rah-rah, you know, leader in that way. So.
I hear you hooping it up.
Our office is not at all like Reid's office. Between Kira's team and our team, we do not have half the rah-rah that Reid does.
We have a quiet, productive office anymore.
A little lacking in vector 2 there.
So is there more?
Yeah, so I put together a quarterly, just with myself and my employees events, and the first one we're doing November 7th, 8th, we're going down to Alyeska for the weekend. So we've got that booked, and they were all super excited about it, and they already, I thought it was just gonna be a fun weekend, but they want to have like a business meeting at dinner, and I'm like, okay, we'll have a business meeting at dinner. So they're really excited about it. So that's one thing I've implemented from it.
Nice. So it's all, right now it's all about planning for next year. And there's one thing that Kristen Cole said down there in the expansion mastermind. There was a person that was basically saying, you know, I lost these key people, and now I'm rebuilding from scratch, and I have no idea what was really even happening. And she said, well, that's because your systems were in a person, not on paper. And that was, I mean, it was like, ding! Yeah, okay, I get that. So amongst other things, one of the things we're implementing next year is making sure that as we continue to grow, that all the things that are happening are documented along the way, which is a huge blind spot for me. So cool. It's not for other people.
So, we're actually having our first all-day planning session on Thursday of this week to plan.
In 40 years?
So I've been actually a lead receiver since 1974, and I have taken lots of classes and I have done lots of things, and I have not necessarily done them with the intention of making change or being really committed to them. And the example that I will bring up is bold. I have taken bold 3 times, and each time with less enthusiasm. And it's kind of interesting because, you know, one of the things that Lindsay has talked about quite a bit lately happened because of bold, and that